Good evening, good evening. How's everybody tonight? It's been a little while since we've been on stream. Let me just get everything set up. Cool. And I get some new music tonight as well, so I guess you guys can tell me if it's good or if it sucks. I think that's about the normal volume we have the music. Burgosaurus, Brendan, Propkius, Reziel, Hema, 2 Scoops, The End, Balanced Hydra, Liz Jenkins. Good evening, everybody. What is happening? Ryan, what is up tonight? Let me know. Yeah, maybe it does sound a bit like thriller music. Why not, though? Let me know, Dirty Wizard, what's happening? Let me know what you're working on tonight. If you are going to be doing some hobby along with me. I've had these Terminators. I haven't touched them this week. The last time I touched them was last Saturday night. On stream, I guess. So I'm going to try and put... I think I'm going to start with maybe a little bit... I feel like putting a little bit of gold on them. I think I'm going to start with a bit of gold. And then maybe we'll do some lead belcher. I might do some brass scorpion on these guys. I got brass scorpion here. Where the hell is Retributor gold? Here we go. Retributor armor. Retributor armor, not Retributor gold. Alright, cool. Cooking spaghetti. I mean, that's a reasonable substitute for hobbying. Good evening, Joseph. How are you doing? Squad of Interceptors, a Redemptor, and a Contemptor. There's a lot to be working on at once. So I think I'm going for a very... these guys are gonna have quite a lot of gold on them, I feel like, and I think if I get some gold on them now, I'll know better where I'm taking these guys, because I'm not 100% sure really. I'm not following any box art or anything like that. I'm just painting these guys as they come. I was thinking about this, that like maybe I need to give them some more black, like black shoulder pads, black knee pads. I mean, there's a bit of black on the thinner hammers, but not much. So I haven't quite decided how I'm doing the color schemes on this. But we're going to start with a bit of Retributor armor. I hope you guys have all had a good weekend. Mine's been pretty busy, but it's been good. And we are going to get back to live game this week. I know we had to cancel last week's game, but we are going to take on the Tau this Monday. And it's going to be a different Tau list. Don't worry, it's not going to be 3 Storm Surges, but it's going to be equally as difficult. I think it's going to be like 6 broadsides and 15 battle suits. So that's going to be a fun game on Monday night. So if you want to see me probably get salty and cry against a kind of horrible Tau list, then that's probably what's happening on Monday. But I mean, I did beat the Tau list last time. It was very difficult, but we did beat it, so maybe we can beat it again. As always, if there's any Blood Angels questions, just pop them in the chat and I will get to them. Procopius is how I say it, but God knows how it's supposed to sound. Okay, Procopius. I will try and get that right. New Elder fully revealed, yes. And did anyone pre-order New Elder stuff? That was today, right? I don't know when / if ever I'm getting to second army, so for the moment I'm just fully focused on the Blood Angels. I actually gave up my second armies. I used to have Eldar, Orcs, and Imperial Guard as other armies, and I gave them all up because I just didn't feel like I had time, and I had too much of a backlog of Space Marine stuff. It's so... I still have a giant backlog of Space Marine stuff, so I gave it all up just to focus on the Marines. Good evening, Sanguinius. Tony, how you doing? Painting a Deimos Predator with a Magna Melta cannon. Is that Forge World Ryan? I'm not even sure what that is. Demo Spreader. Toasty Devil coming in with the $1 super chat. Thank you, Toasty. I think you sent me super chat before, Toasty. You didn't put a comment on that one either. You should at least put a comment when you send a super chat. I will read it out. But thank you very much for the support, dude. I appreciate it. Hello, John. Was literally watching one of your Blood Angel strategy videos when I notified this was going live. Just want to say thank you for diligence with this army. Well, thank you, Toasty, for the support. Yeah, no problem. I like this army. I'm determined to win a GT with this army, regardless of how out of the meta that we are. I'll keep plugging away. One day I'll win one. Promise. I was close last year. I was close. So I know that like Crux Terminatuses can kind of be bone, but I'm just going to paint mine gold and silver. I'm going to go pretty heavy on the gold scheme. I'm also going to paint like the borders on the Storm Shields gold, I think. I say I think as I've already started putting the gold on them, but yeah, I'm going to give them like a gold rim on these Storm Shields. I'm busy being scared by the new Elder rules, says Tony. Hey Commander, just curious, would you play Blood Angels and Horus Heresy 2.0? I mean, what do I have to buy to play Horus Heresy, right? Like, do I need to buy a rulebook? Do I need to buy a codex? I mean... And I don't really know, like I've heard rumors that there's a new box set coming for Horus Heresy 2.0, but I don't know much more than that. I've not really been following the Horus, or I guess I don't really follow, because Horus Heresy is kind of like Forge World, right? Or Specialist games. Kind of just, my focus is just on 9th edition 40k, really. I mean, if my army transfers over and I can just play, then maybe. I mean, I don't see any reason that I wouldn't play, but I guess it would be the barrier to entry, and also to see if I would need to have opponents that would be willing to play, right? Setting up my own new art studio, wish I was painting instead, says the end. Well, congrats on getting a new art studio. I just got a new house last year, and like this room that has all my stuff in it just doesn't... It's good, but it still feels like... It feels like I filled this room already. I only just moved into this house. I get so many board games and stuff on the shelves behind me, I feel like it's kind of ridiculous. Could also go gold helmets because they're veterans. Do you know what? I've got this one that Tony and Mark were making fun of. I've got this one that I put intercessor helmet onto would be the right word. I mean, technically, I could have gone gold on this guy's intercessor helmet, I guess, because they are first company and they are veterans, and it would make him stand out as the sergeant. But maybe I'll just put gold on these wings here, you know, and that'll like stand him out as the sergeant. But Tony and Mark were very critical of me putting a Primaris helmet on a Terminator. They thought it looked very wrong. I don't mind it. You need about £120 worth of rulebooks for Horus Heresy. Well, then maybe. I mean, I've got a lot of other stuff to buy at the moment, and kids, man, aren't cheap. So, I mean, I'd not be against it, but I would need to have somebody that plays it. And my issue is with the kids, I really only get one night a week for playing 40k. You know, like the game on Monday is the only game I play each week. So, it's not, you know, that's the reality of having two kids. That's not like my choice, right? So, I'm not sure I feel like I would have time for Horus Heresy. I mean, I guess the cost isn't too bad. It would just be the time commitment, really, right? And yeah, I really want to win a GT with Blood Angels. I'd like to do that this year. I don't know if we're strong enough to do it this year, But I'd like to at least get a couple of GTs this year and give it a shot. So I guess we'll see. It's coming before June. GW is making all plastics you need, box set rules, and GW Blood Angels rulebook. All non-Primaris stuff could be used. Older models are usable. Well, I mean, that sounds cool. I mean, Horus Heresy is just basically using an older rule set. Is it? It's using an older rule set of like 40k? My friend is super salty now comparing the Storm Surge to his Lord of Skulls. The Storm Surge is really competitive. Yeah, kids aren't cheap, Toasty. You'll learn. Trust me, they aren't. You'll learn that. I actually want to buy my daughter more Duplo, and honestly, Duplo is as expensive as Warhammer 40k. It's ridiculous. Get boxes of Duplo that are like over 100 quid. I was going to say... Well, let me read Procopio's... Children are far too expensive. Someone should talk to them about $5. Thank you, Procopio. Yeah, I mean... yeah, my pet peeve at the moment with my children is if I spend like the whole evening making dinner... and then they just sit and they literally don't touch it, and you have to beg with them. You know, like, you like pizza, please have a slice of pizza. I know you like pizza, you know, you've eaten this pizza so many more times before. Please have a slice of pizza. You know, Daddy spent ages getting this ready and cooking it. And like, you know, they just sit there and just don't. So, that's the fun part of kids, I guess, right? I was thinking of doing a controversial video. Rezio, you're in the chat, aren't you? I was thinking of making a controversial video this week, and the controversial video is why I prefer Terminators over Blade Guard veterans in the current meta. And I think it is controversial. I've done videos comparing the two before, and I think when I compared the two before, I definitely preferred the Blade Guard veterans, but now I'm firmly in camp Terminator. So I might make a controversial video about Terminators this week. We'll see. We'll see. I'm thinking about it. I really am thinking about it. Horus Heresy is basically 7th edition 40k. As I understand it, which looks exactly like 3rd to my untutored eye. Okay. I mean, I guess the cool thing about Horus Heresy is you'd be able to field Sanguinius. Not that I actually own the Sanguinius model, but I know a bunch of you guys do, so... I mean, it would be cool to be able to field Sanguinius at least once in all the time I've played, you know? So, that might be a reason alone just to pick up the rulebook. You know, if it's a box set, like a getting started set, and it's like 120 quid, I guess it's going to include a bunch of plastic models as well, right? So, there would probably be enough of a reason there for veteran 40k players to just pick it up. I mean, maybe that's what they're wanting, veteran players to pick it up so that they have an in to the Horus Heresy or whatever you want to call it, I guess. So, yeah, I'm not against it. I'm definitely not against it. It's not really been sitting as my top priority. My 3-year-old doesn't eat anything. I feel your pain, says Burgosaurus. Anything at all, or anything you cook? I mean, both are annoying, right? If you trick the kids thinking it is to takeaway, they love it basically, or delivery. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can do that. Sometimes it doesn't work though. We had Domino's pizza. I think it was Domino's that we had a few weeks ago that I was saying, like, you know, you like Domino's pizza, you've had it before, please will you try it, you know? And it was just like, nope, won't even try it. So this guy is actually one of the Space Marine hero models, because he came with this like pretty cool custom base. I generally like the Space Marine heroes. I know they were a little bit difficult to get a hold of, but you can sometimes find them on eBay pretty cheap if you just wanted to get like a sergeant for your Terminator squad or something like that. So that's where I didn't buy any of the blind boxes. I just bought them on eBay. eBay is great for 40k stuff. I mean, if you scour eBay, like I would say like weekly or daily, or probably weekly, you'll always find good deals on 40k stuff. Someone is always selling something on eBay. Foz says, hello everyone. Hey Foz, how you doing? Good evening. We do have an Eldar player in our meta as well, which is Kev. Kev tends to run fluffy lists. But I guess you guys want to see Raldaron. You guys know I'm giving away 2 Raldarons in this painting competition that we have running at the moment, or I say running at the moment. You've got a little while to enter yet if you want to enter the painting competition, but we are giving away 2 Raldarons. So if you've not emailed in on the painting competition, you should do that. There's an extra, I'm not pronouncing that right, so there's an O in there, so it's like Raldaron? Good evening, Daniel, how you doing? I'm planning on converting Captain K with the new Gravis Captain, using the upper torso and arms of the Terminator on the Gravis legs and the lower torso. I do kind of like that new Gravis Captain. I put him in one of my videos. I think he could be fun. Some people disliked him, but I think the 3 damage chain fist with the sheer number of attacks that you could get, I think he's probably one of the most viable Death Company captains you could make, because we don't really see any Death Company captains, right? People don't typically pick them, but I think that new Gravis captain could make a pretty cool Death Company captain. Robert's asking what everyone's working on. He's painting up Belkador. I'm saying that wrong as well. Bellicor? Yeah, that's the one. It's been a long day here, actually. My kid woke me at like 7 AM on a Saturday. I don't like getting up at 7 AM on a Saturday. I have an alarm set for like 8, but 7 is just pushing it a little bit too far. Toasty's working on Lamenters. Try saying that 3 times fast. I'm not going to try, Toasty, but good effort painting a Redemptor and Lamenters. You can have a lot of squares, white and black squares to paint, right? I've never actually tried freehand white and black squares, but I don't think I would be very good at it. My freehand skills are pretty average. I try to do like big crosses for like Death Company models, like tanks and bikes and stuff freehand, and I mean, it was okay. I'm definitely not. Freehand isn't my strong suit, I'd say. Just got into Warhammer 40,000 Joe's Blood Angels. Sadly started with the Blood Angels Combat Patrol, says anonymous content. Yeah, that's a tough one, anonymous content. The Combat Patrol for Blood Angels is a bit, I mean, it's cool to have the units, right? Like you never have Space Marine units that are totally gash. Like, they're okay. I want to say everything in the box is probably just okay. Like, if you're just starting and you're not worried about competitive, then it's fine. But if you bought the Combat Patrol, I mean, I guess what I'd just say is just make sure you watch a bunch of my videos before you buy anything else, because if you're wanting to play at the highest standard, and if you're wanting to be competitive, then not too many. Do you know what I mean? I've got a bunch of the models out of the Combat Patrol and I don't use them, so I actually messaged Games Workshop on Facebook after they released that Blood Angels Combat Patrol and said to them, like, hey, you know, this Combat Patrol is questionable at best. Like, maybe if you're gonna make another Combat Patrol, being that, like, you know, I've got the ear of a lot of the Blood Angels community, maybe you'd like to ask me and I could at least give you my 2 cents. But I don't think they will. Miguel is finishing up the second set of custode jet bikes. Miguel, you're a dirty person making 2 squads of those jet bikes. They're so strong right now. I actually didn't realise that the Custodes FAQ had come out. I guess, like, I hadn't been paying too much attention to the Warhammer community site for FAQs, because, like, obviously the FAQs don't affect what I'm playing, which is Blood Angels. So when I found out the FAQ for Custodes has come out, I was like, oh cool, so did they fix or change any of the points cost? It's like, nope, they didn't change anything. I was like, okay, moving on, I guess. Greetings, Daniel. Joined the channel this week, enjoy your video, scored my first victory versus Metallica Admech today, so thanks. You're welcome, Daniel. Thanks for joining the channel. Always surprises me, actually, that we still get people that join the channel, like, now. You know, like, 9,000 and some other Blood Angels players here, and it's like there's new people still finding out about the channel that didn't even know it existed. I mean, it's cool, but it does surprise me. I wonder at what point that will, like, at what point does just every Blood Angels player know that I exist? And has either subscribed or doesn't care, doesn't want to subscribe, you know, right? Like, it, I guess, like, the community of Blood Angels players is bigger than I thought it was. I think I was gonna say, I think I might almost have more subscribers than the Blood Angels Reddit, the main Blood Angels Reddit now. Or is it the main Blood Angels Facebook group? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's not Reddit. You can scout the web for custom 40k transfers. You can, and you can also get transfers on eBay. I bought a lot of transfers on eBay you know, people always sell those, like, Indomitus transfers from eBay and stuff like that. You get some good prices on them. So it's always, if you don't have any transfers, eBay is the best place to look, I think. What sort of websites do you use for custom transfers? Is it like Etsy and stuff like that, or is it like something else? Almost finished the Blade Guard veterans for the painting competition, says Maverick. Oh, cool. We've had a lot of entries to the painting competition, by the way. Probably at least like 20. Maybe even 25. I had a look. I think I had a look on. I think it was either yesterday or Thursday night, but yeah, there's been a definite. Like, there's definitely been a good number of entries to the painting competition already, and I guess there's probably, I said like the 12th of March, so you get like 2 more weeks to enter the painting competition. So, yeah, I mean, if you were thinking of painting something to enter, then I'd say go for it. But yeah, I've been impressed with how many we've had a good amount of entries, I would say. So there'll definitely be like a decent amount of competition there, I guess. Indestructible webway gates that can be put on objectives and gift buffs while delivering a squad, all for 80 points. I saw those webway gates, Robert. I'm not sure I like the webway gate idea, especially the fact that they can come in and make like charges that are less than 9 inches. That seems kind of crazy, I guess, right? But I mean, I was talking to Tony and Mark about the Tau Codex this week, because we have the next episode of the 3 Grots podcast coming up on Thursday night this week. And Tau have a way in turn 1 where they can basically like relocate a unit to give a turn 1, to essentially get like a turn 1 9-inch deep strike, I guess. So I was like, oh cool. And they also, yeah, there's a few things that Tau get that, like, they literally took those things away from Blood Angels and they've given them to Tau. So why did they take them away from us? If you know, like, take them away if you think they're overpowered, sure, but don't just take them away and give them to another army, I guess. So I guess, yeah, the episode's coming out on Thursday night. It'll probably be about 2 hours long, and we're gonna dive into the new Tau Codex and see how we think the best way to beat them is. We're also going to talk a little bit about, like, if you wanted to get started with Tau, because that's typically how our episodes go, you know, getting started, how to beat them, that sort of thing. People on Blood Angels Reddit are not really competitive players. I think your viewership is a slightly different flavour. Yeah, that's probably true. A good number of my viewers are definitely competitive players, because, I mean, that's kind of what I focus a lot of my content around, right? Winning games. Maybe competitive is the wrong word, but like serious players, I guess, right? Players that want to win games, and that's usually what I tend to focus my content around, is players that want to win games. I do plan on making some painting videos on the channel, but it's just been difficult to get the time to set up everything and do some proper, like, high quality painting videos with the kids. I'm gonna make it happen at some point, but not right now, I guess. David says this is by far the best channel for Blood Angels. I've learned so much watching your videos. Thanks, David. I appreciate that. I try. I just like to win games, I guess. Dermot's currently planting a Sangre Priest. I'd kind of hoped that they would have taken the points down on the Sangre Priest by now, but, you know, maybe that'll happen. He is very expensive, 155 points, and I feel like he's quite, if the opponent's smart, I feel like he's quite counterable. You know, you can always try and, like, fully destroy the unit so that the Sangre Priest can't get any value out of the resurrections and stuff like that, so it really depends on how smart your enemy is on how useful the Sangre Priest is going to be for you. Riziel wants to enter, but I'm not sure on the deadline. Riziel, you can enter any Blood Angels model that you've got, right? So if the ones you're painting right now aren't finished, surely you've got something you can enter, right? In future competitions, we're maybe going to change slightly how the entries work. So it's like it would have to be something that you started working on at the beginning of the competition, but for this competition, it's because I've never done a painting competition before. It's not like anything has been. It's not like any of the models are ineligible. So you can enter any model that you've painted for Blood Angels. It doesn't have to be painted like this month. It could have been painted 6 months ago, whatever. As long as it's a Blood Angels model and it's at a high quality standard, and you painted it, and you can prove that you essentially own it, then you can enter it, right? When's the deadline? It's gonna be about the 12th of March. I'm gonna make a video around the 12th of March announcing a deadline. So the deadline will probably be at least like a few days after the 12th of March, because it's not gonna be like, here's the deadline, oh, it's done, alright? So it'll be like on the 12th of March, I'll give you a few more days and then we'll end it. Elude? Good evening, Steel Rain. Good evening, Alute. I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. Alute says, just started getting into 40k. Thanks for your videos and the Facebook group. Yeah, thanks for following. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'm gonna have to do so much tidy up on these Terminators. It's kind of ridiculous. These shields are so intricate. I wanted to get back into the game, started back in early teens, like 6 or 7 edition, and fell off. There wasn't much of a scene in my city. Like seeing that Blood Angels is still decent. Well, hopefully you can get back into the game. I'm not sure I recommend Blood Angels as being still decent at the moment. We're fine. Codex creep is a thing this edition, though. It feels like every new release makes the previous releases feel quite underpowered. And I don't know if that's just Games Workshop trying to sell new models or what, but I think the Codex creep in this edition has been... This edition is the best, like the game plays the best it's played since I've played it, I think. Like the game plays fast, it's fun. Overall, the game feels reasonably balanced. Just some of the new codexes coming into the scene have... We don't like to say overpowered, we like to say the word, what is it? Overtuned or something? Or yeah, I think overtuned is what we were saying. A bunch of the new codexes feel overtuned. Like, they're just so strong. They all have great abilities. They all have great stratagems. Admech and Tau, the last two that came out, both are super strong. Can one enter entire Sangre Guard, or would it have to be a single mini? Yeah, you can enter. I said that you could enter a character, a squad, or a vehicle. So yeah, you can 100% enter a squad of Sangre Guard. That's not a problem. Yeah, some people get a lot of value from the Sangre Priest. Don't get me wrong, some people find it's one of the strongest things that can run, and some people run the Sangre... Some people feel like they get value from the Sangre Priest, not from the revives. They feel like they get the value from putting units into the Assault Doctrine, which I totally get. Like, Assault Doctrine is very good for us, so if you feel like that's something that's really important and really helps you win games, then, you know, maybe you want to take the Sangre Priest without the Chief Apothecary and Selfless Healer and all that jazz, and just take him with a jump pack or something, and use him to... what I'm trying to say? Use him to get your units into the Assault Doctrine nice and early, because that is one way to use him, and it is an effective way to use him, right? Are Vanguard veterans really unavoidable for competitive play? What do you mean by unavoidable? Like, can you make an army without Vanguard veterans and them be good? Is that what you're trying to ask by saying unavoidable? If that's what you're trying to ask, then yeah, I think 100% you don't need to have don't need to have Vanguard veterans to be competitive. I mean, they're a good unit. They can be very competitive, but you don't need them in a competitive list. Can you say what sort of units have been submitted? I've seen everything. I've seen Blade Guard veterans, I've seen Dantes, I've seen Mephistons, I've seen custom Sanguinors. I'm not sure if anyone's entered any vehicles yet. Oh, do you know what? I think somebody entered a Leviathan Dreadnought, so like... basically in the painting competition, we've seen a little bit of everything. So, but I mean, I don't think it's a problem if people double up, I guess, on the same units. I mean, we're going to get some doubles, right? Because there's a finite amount of units. When do you think Blood Angels get a new codex? 10th edition? Because we already had our 9th edition one. I think Space Marines are rumored to be getting a second codex this edition, but I don't think Blood Angels will get another one this edition. I think, unfortunately, you know, because we were first last edition, that was just our lot, I guess. At the very start of this edition, it felt like they were really trying to balance everything and bring everything back into tune, and that's when our codex came out, along with the Necron codex. Necrons have had tons of buffs in the last few codexes. I mean, still don't know if Necrons are that strong, but they at least have had a bunch of buffs, whereas like Blood Angels didn't get really any buffs. I mean, we got the Death Company buff and we get the Mephistone buff, but are they enough? I'm not sure they are. I'm running 6 Assault Terminators in my league to give them a go. Also, I couldn't get enough Death Company in the list I wanted to go in time. Fair enough. How are you running your Assault Terminators, Steel Ray? Strong but balanced like the Death Guard, says Flame Strike. Apparently not. I've seen Vanguard veterans in nearly every list. I mean, so I played in 2 GTs this year, and in one of the GTs I ran Vanguard veterans, and the other ones I didn't. So, do I feel you need Vanguard veterans in your list to be competitive? No, I don't think so. I think the Lightning Claw Storm Shield Vanguard veterans are genuinely very good though, so I can understand why a lot of people run them. But I don't think you have to run them. But I mean, the other thing people do is if you dislike how Vanguard veterans look, then could you not just convert? Could you not buy some could buy some like assault intercessors and some jump packs and just sort of convert them into some sort of like Primaris Vanguard veterans? I mean, if they ever release Primaris Vanguard veterans, then you've already got a head start. And I mean, loads of people have made like Primaris Sanguinary Guard models and stuff like that, right? Because again, people maybe don't like the size or the dimensions or the looks of those firstborn. So like, it almost seems like every other day somebody on Reddit posts that they've made like Sanguinary Guard for Primaris conversions, right? Toasty Devil says I almost flipped my lid when I sat down and started reading the Tau Codex. Yeah, it's a strong codex, huh? Like I said, we got like a 2-hour live stream going out on the Grots channel on Thursday night about it, and yeah, we felt it was pretty strong. There was I definitely how do I phrase this nicely? I definitely was passionate about some of the rules and stuff in that new Tau Codex. Some of the stratagems, some of the models, some of the weapons. It's a nice codex. It's a powerful codex. Here's a weird idea: 10 assault terminators, 5 hammers and shields, and the rest with claws. Too expensive. I mean, if you run them like that, balanced Hydra, at least you get the option to combat squad them, right? I think the problem with terminators is they're slow. So I guess like I'm always starting my terminators in reserve pretty much, and I'm dropping them down and hoping that I make that 8-inch rerollable charge, or I mean, it's a 9-inch charge, but with our +1, I guess it's a roll of 8 with a reroll, right? So terminators are probably a risky. There's certainly an element to risk to running terminators, and they are slow and they can get bogged down in a board quadrant and stuff like that. So do I think 10, like, I'm not running 10 Terminators, I'm running 5. Would I run 10? I'm not sure I would. But, I mean, I'm just one person. And I'm not the be-all and end-all when it comes to if you should run a unit, right? Like, I just give you my opinion. But in my current list, I do run Vanguard Veterans, right? The Lightning Claws are good, the Thunderhammers are good. That's why I guess a lot of people do run them. Are they 100% required / needed? I'd probably say no, but they are good, right? I mean, if they weren't good, people wouldn't run them. It's kind of as simple as that, I guess. I'm entering my Librarian Vindicator soon, says watch this space, says Jax the Bruiser. Cool, Jax. I'm running four hammers and 2 lightning claws. I had to change the Death Company to 8 dudes, 2 hammers and 6 infernal pistols. I'm having 10 Stormcast dudes on the workbench that I might get Custode Shields and Blood Angels heads and convert into Vanguard Veterans. Still looking for claws though, might give it a try. Yeah, I mean, if you're making Vanguard Veterans, just claws and Thunderhammers, man. And yeah, I mean, you could probably make some cool looking Primaris conversions with Stormcast for sure. I actually bought myself a botch of the Stormcast like it must have been over a year ago now, to do just that. Unfortunately, my backlog of kicking my ass and having 2 kids now means that I've got no... Basically, if I'm not streaming, I don't do any painting now when I'm not streaming, which honestly is kind of frustrating because I feel like I never you know when you're painting and you complete a squad and there's a really good feeling, like, yes, I completed the squad, they're done, you know. You don't get... I guess I don't get that so much with the 2 kids. Saying that, I think I'm hearing a kid crying. Maybe not. Good evening, Caring Commissar. How are you? John was so salty about the Tau book in the video, I nearly got heart disease. Oh, you evil, evil man. How dare you call me that salty? I beat the Tau as well. I'm going to beat them on Monday night. You watch. Andrew beat Colin's Death Guard with a Tau, though. With the list he's taken to this tournament, so if I can beat Andrew's Tau, I'll be very happy. I think it'll be a tough game for sure. I'll probably take no prisoners against him, honestly, because like his whole list's infantry pretty much, because it's all battle suits. So maybe no prisoners would be the right call there, just because at least then I'm getting points whenever I kill any of his models, right? And if I don't kill his models, I'm gonna lose the game anyway, because I'm not killing his models and he's gonna shoot me off the table. So maybe that would be one way to play it, I think, maybe. It's a shame you can't fit Terminators out with claws and shields. That would be actually pretty cool, claws and shield Terminators. It's a real shame you can't actually, because you basically already get that as a weapon option in the box, right? Because you already get the choice of putting the 2 lightning claws or the Thunderhammer and shield on. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, it would be cool to actually do shields and claws on Terminators. Especially considering you already, like I said, you already get the kits. The kits already come with those weapon options, essentially. Looking for some advice. I have a squad of assault Terminators I'm building with a mix of Thunderhammers and dual lightning claws. What ratio would you take and what would you suggest on the Sergeant, says Joseph. Good evening, Joseph. That's literally what I'm painting right now. And I take 3 Thunderhammers and the Sergeant is a Thunderhammer guy. And I take 2 lightning claws. And I would paint up the Teleport Homer as well, because I think it's useful. So it's 200 points if you take three with Thunderhammers, 2 with Lightning Claws, the Teleport Homer, and I think you want to have the Sergeant with a Thunderhammer because you want the extra attack on a Thunderhammer rather than a Lightning Claw. Just for the pure simplicity of 1 extra attack on a Lightning Claw is maximum of 1 extra damage, 1 extra attack on a Thunderhammer is a maximum of 3 extra damage, so why would you not take the 3 extra damage on the Thunderhammer, right? Plus, bollocks. Typically in my lists, you usually try and kill the Sergeant last. Or in my games, usually try and kill the Sergeant last, right? Because he's got better leadership and stuff like that. More attacks, you kind of want him to be alive last. So if you only got 1 guy left, having the Storm Shield, I mean, he's kind of almost as good as a character with the Storm Shield and Terminator armor, right? Because he's like 1-up save, 4-up invulnerable save, 3 wounds. I mean, he's close to a character. So yeah, why not keep him? Why not keep him as a menace as the last guy? That's how I would run it. That's how I am running it. Not how I would. That is actually how I am running it. That is literally what I'm painting as well right now. Which do you think is better, a smash / captain deep striking on a jump pack, or starting on the table on the bike? I mean, I've been running bike characters this entire edition. I like them. I think they're durable. I think in this edition you get points, obviously, for performing actions and staying alive and being on the board or holding the middle with like Oath of Moment. So I think the bike captains / characters are more attractive to me than jump pack captains, which is a little bit sad because jump packs are typically like... Jump packs are the sort of pseudo Blood Angels thing. Like, we are supposed to be the chapter that is all like about jump packs and stuff, but yeah, as it stands right now, I've kind of fallen in love with Bikers this edition. I've just been playing them the whole edition. It's weird that Terminators, all first company, have such restrictive loadouts. Wolfguard have more flexibility, I believe. Yeah, I mean, there's no logic in the loadouts, James. And I mean, that's one thing that I think has frustrated me a little bit, and maybe I'm sure I've said this on this channel, is that like Primaris weapon options are just whack. You know, like they're just poor. Like, you know, Firstborn Death Company do have so much better weapon options than Primaris Death Company. Most of the Primaris weapon options in general are pretty... yeah, I guess... I actually don't know... Yeah, like, Bladeguard Veterans could be a brilliant unit, but the fact that they can only take 2 damage swords in a meta where, like, 2 damage is actually kind of weak now, then it's just like... the restrictiveness of the Primaris loadouts or weapon options kind of sucks, and in some ways, yeah, maybe it would be better if when they redid the codex they removed a lot of weapon option restrictions. I don't even really know why they're there, you know? You know, like, if you want to make a 5-man squad of Death Company with, like, all Thunderhammers, which we can do at the moment with Firstborn, like, it's not like they're super overpowered. It's not like people show up to the game and be like, oh, the game's broken because you've made a squad of 5 Death Company with Thunderhammers. If anything, people go, wow, if I kill that squad, you lose a lot of points, right? I'm not convinced that the real restriction on weapon options is needed. I genuinely don't like it. And I think it could have, I just think it could be done better. You know, another unit that springs to mind is Outriders. You know, like, Outriders to me, if they'd had some weapon options, could actually been a really interesting unit. The fact that they can just take chainswords, to me, I think they're crap. They don't get enough attacks with chainswords to do a lot of damage, but like, if the Sergeant could have been rocking like a Thunderhammer and you got those 2 bonus attacks on the charge from whatever, they have a rule that they get bonus attacks when they charge. I think it's just called Devastating Charge, right, or something like that. You know, like if your sergeant of the Outriders could have had a Thunderhammer, then you would have been like, wow, this could have been a pretty interesting model. You know, 14-inch move, massive amounts of bonus attacks from the charge, combo that up with Savage Echoes early in the game. But it's like, we just didn't get any weapon options on them. Like, I don't think Outriders can change out any of their weapons, period. And you know what, that's why I was saying, like, I think they should just, you know, they do those upgrade sprues, right? You know, like the Primaris, the Blood Angels upgrade sprue, whatever you want to call it. I think they did a Blood Angels upgrade sprue, and then I think they did a Blood Angels Primaris upgrade sprue. In my opinion, they should just do like they should just do like a weapon upgrade sprue, like Primaris weapon upgrade sprue, and it has like some storm shields and thunderhammers and all sorts of nonsense on it, and all these units can get upgrades, and it's up to you if you want to spend the points for the upgrades, right? It gives you so much more customization over your army, makes everyone's army that much bit more unique. But yeah, I mean, they just haven't wanted to do that at all for Primaris stuff yet. It seems like it's a little bit disappointing. Wait, what was the question about Thunderhammers? No, Thunderhammers don't get more attacks than chainswords. I was spitballing, like, why don't they get Thunderhammers on the Outriders? Because that would actually be really strong if they got the extra bonus attacks from Devastating Charge. I think Primaris weapon restrictions is GW's way to avoid people 3D printing options. Yeah, I mean, maybe it is, but here's the thing. I don't understand the need. The need to make me spend like £30 to get like to buy kits that I don't need the models from just to get the weapon options. Because that's what we have right now. We've got like, and I just think that whole process could be streamlined and made a lot better, and the codex would actually be better, and maybe you wouldn't have this giant power gap or power vacuum that we have at the moment, where like Primaris models are not, I mean, they're okay, but they're not super strong because there's I guess the question marks around lack of weapon options and stuff like that. If captains on our bike were able to run a relic blade, would I take it over a Thunderhammer? Probably not, because the Thunderhammer performs really well against those -1 damage enemies, and you don't want your captain to be bogged down and do rubbish against a -1 damage enemy, right? And if you are going to run your captain with Gift of Foresight, then you're always going to get to reroll one of your hits and wounds anyway. So the Thunderhammer gets a lot of value out of that, because you're usually going to miss one. Like, the captain gets 6 attacks, right? You only hit on 3s because of Thunderhammer -1 to hit. So you're typically going to miss, well, on average, with your 6 attacks, you're going to miss 2. So the fact you can reroll 1 for free from the Gift of Foresight is going to be really useful, and then you're always going to pretty much wound on 2s. So with the reroll 1 again from Gift of Foresight, you're going to make a reliable number of wounds. So I did look at like Relic Blade on a bike captain if it was an option, but over the course of all the games I've played this edition, like the amount of times that my captain has killed things with that Thunderhammer because of the 3 damage is kind of huge, actually. So no, I'm convinced that the Thunderhammer on a chapter master on a bike is actually really strong. He's like an auto include for me. He is the first model that goes into every single one of my lists, and I have no qualms. Like, I have no question marks about him at all. I just know what he brings. Super survivable, always providing those rerolls, killing characters left, right, and center. Brilliant for Angel's Sacrifice. He just brings a lot, I think. I feel Blood Angels will be the poster boys for 10th edition with a load, new jump pack, assault Primaris, possibly a new Primaris Dante model. I mean, it sounds cool, but I don't really want to have to wait for 10th edition, but I guess if we gotta wait, we gotta wait, right? There's not too much we can do about it. Yeah, it's a little bit sad, the state that some of our stuff is in at the moment, but if we have to wait, we have to wait. There's nothing we can do. Dirty Wizard, I'd love to see a Primaris Dante. I'd love to have an option. I'd love to have an option that competes with the Chapter Master on a bike. At the moment, I don't think any of our named characters come close to the Chapter Master on a bike. So, yeah, I would love to see an option that feels like it competes with that Chapter Master on the bike, you know? Outriders are actually not bad for white scars. Yes, they are good for white scars. They're just terrible for most other chapters in Blood Angels. Do your Terminators get black dikes? They do indeed. I could do that next if you wanted me to. I was just gonna do a tiny little bit of Dawnstone on one of these bits that I missed on one of the knees. This Dawnstone is crazy thick. Got a little bit of water into it. Both these brushes I'm using are kind of crap though, because I've just been using them to put on so many base coats, so the bristles are all over the place. So it might be difficult to do the feet as accurate as I would like, but we could do it. It's not like I'm not going to come back and tidy these models up. I reckon these 5 Terminators are going to take me like 40 hours. I've maybe put in close to 10 so far. That's too much paint. Wasn't paying attention. Too much paint. A Chapter Master Dreadnought. The Chapter Master on bike does have solid competition. Just got into the model part of the hobby. Read a lot of the books and fell in love with the Blood Angels. Bought the Combat Patrol, but I'm sort of at a loss what to do now. Reroll Tau and wait for new Blood Angels? I wouldn't reroll Tau and wait for new Blood Angels. I would look at the Blood Angels units that you think are good, and I would buy them. I did we did the tier list videos. Multi-laced Bill, I think is your name. So I'd go onto the channel and look at the tier list videos, because we look at every single unit in the Blood Angels, and we basically rate them from A to S. Sorry, from basically like S means super, A means awesome, and we go down to there all the way down to D for dumpster. So I would watch some of those tier videos, look at some of the units that we think are really, really strong right now, and then that's what I would focus my effort or money or time on. Because if you want to be competitive, then that was kind of the idea behind that tier list video, right? Where it was going to be like, this is what is strongest right now. Are Power Swords or Power Fists viable in Death Company, or are Hammers just better? I mean, Power Fists are fine until you run into the -1 damage enemies, and then they're kind of neutered, right? And Power Swords again are fine. I think, like, power swords are kind of like, I mean, like in Karmite swords are basically mastercrafted power swords. So I think if you want power swords, don't you just go Sanguigard and take in Karmite swords? Like if you think power swords and you want that minus AP, then that's probably what I would do. And I would say Death Company with some hammers is pretty good, but like, doesn't mean you can't take anything. Power fists are fine until you run into -1 damage enemies. But if you don't run into -1 damage enemies, then power fists are fine. I guess it's probably like when you're trying to make a list at the top of your game or at the top of an army, then I guess you're trying to think about what are the problems your army is going to face. Well, if one of the problems is we're going to face is a -1 damage enemy, then power fists are going to be useless against that, right? So that's probably the reason that you don't see many people running power fists at the moment. Because I mean, you could run chain fists. I was running some chain fists on Terminators and thought it was nice. Because they're D3, but they're a flat 3 against vehicles as well. So against like those big nasty vehicles, you're always doing 2 damage. Dirty Wizard is going to jump out. Thanks for hanging out, Dirty Wizard. I hope you've got a drive tomorrow for the cup final. Well, good luck. I'm not sure who you're supporting, but good luck in the cup final. I'd kind of forgotten that was on until I checked the fixtures today. I might try and catch some of the cup final tomorrow. If it's on television, I guess. Stick Blade Guard into the Impulsor to get into the fight. Have you ever run Death Company Captain, says Lieutenant Dan? If so, do you recommend it for anyone running Death Company Marines? I mean, the thing about Death Company Marines is they can get bonuses from regular captains. So the advantage of putting the captain in the Death Company, I think, is to get access to the Death Visions. And the Death Visions kind of benefit the character as opposed to benefit the squad. So we don't see too many people run like Death Company characters. I ran one for a while actually. And like, I think they're okay, but I don't think you need them necessarily to buff the Death Company. Like any captain with rerolls or any chapter master can buff the Death Company. You don't necessarily need to have a Death Company captain to do that, right? I tried putting Blade Guard in an Impulsor, honestly. I ran it in like a few battles, and I found it wasn't as effective as I thought it would be. Impulsors aren't that cost effective, it feels like. They die pretty quick if the enemy focuses them down. Even with the Shield Dome, they die. They're only like 11 wounds, they're only toughness 7. Any good shooting army can pretty much kill an Impulsor in turn 1. That's why I've moved away from Blade Guard Veterans. I just found it's too difficult to get them. It's just too difficult in some matchups to get the Blade Guard Veterans where they need to be. And Impulsors, like, you know, like if you're thinking about putting Blade Guard in an Impulsor, you're 175 points for 5 Blade Guard. An Impulsor with a Shield Dome's like another 115. So you're basically up to 290 points at that point. I mean, you get 8 Terminators for 290 points. What's going to be more durable? You know, like 5 Blade Guard Veterans or 8 Terminators? I mean, Terminators are slow, sure, but they can deep strike in, so does that not get rid of the whole problem that you would have to take the Impulsor for the Blade Guard? So it's a tough question. Death Company character doesn't take up HQ slots though, so could have 2 captains on the field. I mean, he does take up HQ slots. You can have 2 captains if one of the captain has become Death Company. I think that's what you're getting confused with. I believe you can do 2 captains though if one of the captains is upgraded to chapter master as well, right? So It's kind of two ways of talking about getting two captains. Yeah, I'm not sure. As soon as I know anything about the Space Marine 2.0 codex release or box release or anything, I'll try and make a video on it. Like I'm hopeful that they'll get it right. You know, like I'm hopeful that they'll figure out a way to. I mean, Marines don't need a huge power spike, I think, but we need something. Even if it's just like all of our multiple like las cannons. D6 is just terrible, you know. Now, can we get them like flat 3 damage or something? You know. I've watched most of the tier list, afraid to buy expensive models that are outdated in scale and detailed to stay competitive. Sounds silly, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I can kind of understand what you're saying. How do you even say your name? Can I just call you Bill? Multi-last Bill? I can kind of understand what you're saying, Bill. I don't think they're cutting off access to firstborn Marines for a while, I guess, right? So like, but yeah, I mean, I guess I can understand what you're saying. You don't want to spend the money in case Games Workshop do just decide to basically cut too many firstborn. If you are new to the hobby, I mean, you know, as Blood Angels, you play like Firstborn Death Company, you play Firstborn Sanguinary Guard, you play Firstborn Vanguard Veterans. It is a lot of Firstborn stuff that we typically see and run in lists. So, yeah, I guess I can see a little bit of your concern. Meta changes all the time, to be honest. Remember to also buy the models you think are cool. That's probably the best. That's probably the best thing that we've heard is buy the models you think are cool first. Probably, like if you're worried about models being becoming not competitive, then buy things that you think are, you know, things you think you'll enjoy playing. Things that you think will work in some sort of strategy you play. And I guess anything you buy that's Primaris is probably going to have like a long lifespan as well, right? So, like, I recommend that if you're going to run troops, and you kind of need to run troops now because of the changes to like all the secondaries, I always recommend that the best troops are like incursors and infiltrators. So that would be a great place to start. Buy yourself a box of incursors, and you're probably going to want like, I mean, me personally, I have 3 squads of incursors and 2 squads of infiltrators. So you're probably going to want a squad or 2 of both. So there's like $100 and like 20 models you could paint, and they aren't going anywhere for a while, right? Because they're kind of brand new, I guess. I think we're so far down on Games Workshop's radar, though. Like, I think anything you buy is going to be good for a few years, but I mean, I guess I could be. I'd be really happy if I'm wrong. I really don't think I am wrong, but I don't foresee Blood Angels getting too many releases because there's still people there's still people waiting on their first 9th edition codex. So why the hell are they going to care about us at the moment? Howdy, Jeff. Good evening. Forgot all about this until a few minutes ago. It's no problem, Jeff. Good evening. How you doing? How could you forget about me? I'm here every Saturday night, dude. Literally every Saturday night. It's okay. I forgive you. But yeah, I think that it's not like we've got a news drought or anything like that, but I just think that we are going to be waiting a while to see like giant game-changing changes for the Blood Angels. I think we're a while away from that. Pigtastic Pictures. That's a clever name. Good evening, Pigtastic. How you doing? You've been all wrapped up in Ukraine coverage. I saw some crazy conspiracy theories about Ukraine, and all the nonsense there. I'm probably not going to get into politics on the stream because it just, that's not what the channel's about, I guess. But like, my thoughts on it is just like, it's 2022. Can humans not be decent and civil and peaceful to each other at this point? Like, I don't even know why he's fighting them or whatever. I mean, I haven't looked into it too deeply, but like, to me, it just feels like, if you got a problem with someone, then surely to God nowadays you could talk it out and figure it out. Like, human beings, we're a pretty mature species. There's no reason for anyone to have to kill each other for any reason whatsoever. I just think it's, I don't want, like I said, I don't want to get into it, but I guess like if you're in a country that's not being affected by war, then like we should just be so thankful, because that is just the worst. Innocent people, it's just terrible. Sanguigard and Blood Angels Assault Terminators are great models and fit Blood Angels perfectly. Yeah, I like them a lot. I find the Librarian Dreadnought is a really good warlord. I've ran the Librarian Dreadnought a few times. I think he has definitely got some positives, but he also has some negatives. And against certain armies, he can be countered pretty effectively. If he had an invulnerable save, I would feel a lot more confident about him being your warlord. That's the one thing I just dislike about him. I know he can get an invulnerable save from a psychic power, but typically when you really need psychic powers to go off, that's when they don't go off. So yeah, Librarian Dreadnought is a cool character. Like, don't get me wrong, I've got one. I ran him for a good long while, and I kind of dig him, but I do think he has like some slight weaknesses in 9th edition. But I mean, a lot of the Blood Angels codex got some slight weaknesses in this edition. They weren't very nice to us with our codex, were they? I did just finish the squad of Sternguard veterans, 3 combi meltas and 2 multi meltas, and I want to shoot something, says Jeff. I mean, yeah, you can shoot something on a tabletop war game, man. Don't shoot people in real life, like, this war is just messed up. My Librarian Dreadnought makes people really angry. Rose says that it's hard to type when you're drunk. Don't I know that? I haven't drunk in a little while, actually. I embarrassed myself, I'm pretty sure, at New Year here on stream, so I gotta wait a little while before I get that drunk on stream again. I give him Armor Indomitus. You cannot give the Librarian Armor Indomitus. Pigtastic, sorry to break the news to you. Librarian Dreadnought can't be equipped with relics. There's like a caveat at the top of the relic page that says you can't give it to any model as the vehicle keyword, and he has the vehicle keyword. He has the vehicle keyword, sorry. I'm trying to say that new Primaris jump back unit would benefit heavily for us a lot. Yeah, I mean, I honestly didn't think we would be this many months, years into 9th edition and not have jump back Primaris models when Primaris models were released like last edition. I thought we would have them last edition. I thought we would honestly have Primaris Sanguinary Guard last edition. So, just shows what I know. Nothing, apparently. You know nothing, Jon Snow. My last name isn't Snow, but it's an appropriate quote. I've just spoiled your evening now, Pigtastic. I'm sorry. Pay my kit bash Sanguinary Priest, it's not bad. It's always fun to kit bash stuff, isn't it? Sanguinary Guard are kind of easy to kill. James says New Year's stream was legendary. James, I'm a nightmare when I'm drinking, honestly. I'm one of those, like, I have two speeds when I'm drinking. I either like drink nice and slowly and just have like a couple of beers, or I go just like the complete opposite. And that was one of those complete opposite nights. We got Inceptors. Okay, yeah, I mean, Inceptors is really not what I meant, but I guess you're right, Reziel, in that we do have jump. We do have jump units, I guess. You know what? If we got like a jump unit that were in Gravis armor that had like toughness 5, that would be pretty darn cool. Like an actual melee jump unit in Gravis armor. They would need to be able to take like Thunderhammers or something, because that's the big problem with aggressors, is the fact that the aggressors just have power fists, and there's so much stuff in the meta now that's going to be like -1 damage. What are two top relic contemptor weapon options? Asked Sean Robertson. My two options would be the one that Steel Rain says is really strong, because I've run it a couple of times, which is a Volkite on one arm, the Chain Fist on the other arm, and then the Cyclone Missile Launcher. And then the other option I'd probably run is the switch out the Volkite for a multi-melta, but the same other two weapons, right? I mean, if you don't have the points for the Chain Fist, the Claw is okay. Like, it's still a 3 damage Claw, it's still like strength 14 with +1 to wound and like a decent AP, but the Chain Fist is just a little bit more reliable at killing things, especially vehicles. And multi-melta and or Volkite cannon on the other arm are fine in my opinion. The Volkite's probably going to be more valuable against a lot of enemies, but like sometimes you run into an enemy that's like all their stuff's on like a 2-up save, and that's when the Volkite kind of just falls off. Because if you can save on a 2-up, yeah, the Volkite cannon, unless you get lucky on mortal wounds, is going to do very little to no damage. And I've had that happen to me, where it just, you know, the Volkites are basically just bouncing off things because, you know, they have no AP. So, yeah, those are the two options I think is good, Sean. Hope that helps. Use bits from the Blood Angels Champion Primaris upgrades plus an old metal apothecary from eBay for a cool vintage jump pack. Models a ton for a tiny figure. Sometimes that's, you know, that can happen. I've definitely made conversions that have cost a lot, but I mean, you know, it'll be unique and it'll be something no one else has. And sometimes that can be worth the price that you've paid for it alone, right? Inceptors are already better than Terminators. Ah! Get out of here, Ezio. You're just trolling now. You're not serious. Terminators are going to come into a league of their own against all the indirect fire from Tau that can ignore cover saves. So you're going to have absolute tons of indirect fire coming in from Tau. They're like -1 and -2. So your Terminators are just going to be able to, hopefully positioned well, save the -1s on 2s, and against some of it you'll be able to save the -2s on 2s. You don't give Terminators enough credit. Even Steel Rain's running Terminators now, Ezio. Would you run Mephiston or the Dreadnought? I've been running Mephiston since he got the points costs update, but I've only been running him for fun. Like, I don't think he's that good. I just wanted to run him for fun. You're probably, I mean, the firstborn librarian with Null Zone probably is still the strongest. I mean, the fact Mephiston's 15 points cheaper than the Librarian Dreadnought now, I guess, is interesting, but yeah, I mean, I still don't think he's that good. I got really silly with my Redemptor and put him together with a small piece of metal inside the model, plus rocks in his base, and now he weighs a ton. Okay. Why did you put a small piece of metal inside him? What's your thoughts on a firstborn only list, says Weston. I mean, if you want to go firstborn only, you're just giving yourself a disadvantage. Same as if you want to go Primaris only. So if you want to go to a tournament with firstborn only, you need to know that you're like just you're just making it 20-30% harder for yourself. But if you're just playing casual, then I guess it's fine. I think the one thing I'd probably say is yeah, I mean, I don't know, I play to win, so if I've said it multiple times that the Primaris troops are the best troops in the game. I think tactical squads are trash. Not necessarily the profile and stuff of tactical squads is trash, but the points cost for them, they're overcosted by probably at least maybe 2 points per model, which I guess makes me think that they're a trash unit, because in my opinion they're overcosted. So yeah, I mean, run full firstborn if you like, but like, you are just making it harder on yourself to win games, because it's hard for Marines to win games anyway at the moment. You know, we aren't in the strongest spot, so if you wanna take an army that's not in the strongest spot and just make it another 20 or 30% harder to win, I mean, more power to you, but I don't like to lose that much. What I missed in the last 10 minutes, Foz. I run outside to get chickens, grease, and rabbits put away for night time. I do not know what you missed in the last 10 minutes. I'm kind of tired tonight. Like, my daughter woke me up super early this morning for a Sunday. Yeah, for a Saturday morning. Like the one morning of a week I sleep in, so. We're talking over Terminators and saying how they're good. And we're talking over how we have no real jump pack units for Primaris. We can have Inceptors, but I guess we agree and we disagree that they aren't really what I wouldn't call. When we talk about jump pack units, we want units that can jump into combat, really. And I guess Inceptors aren't going to be that unit, right? Wish Mephiston still got angry when you interrupted his blood drinking. That was an old rule. FFS name taken. That was a very old rule. He also used to be able to disable units completely when they with transfix and gaze. I don't know if you remember that rule. That was a fun rule as well. Mephiston has changed a lot over the years. I believe he used to have a master crafted plasma pistol as well. Now he's just got a basic one. So it does seem strange to give a character that's worth 140 points just a basic plasma pistol that can explode in his face. Because you basically just give him a gun that's like, well, this gun's got 2 profiles, but you'll never, ever, ever shoot it on high power. There you go. Enjoy. I like to use Vindicators. Vindicators are actually... they're just swingy, I guess, right? Vindicators will win or lose you games, because if you roll hot with a Vindicator, you can do a ton of damage. If you roll average, you don't do that much, and if you roll poor, you do nothing. So Vindicators are a strange... They're strange. I hope in the new Space Marine 2.0 codex they normalize some of the damage stuff that we have. Demolisher cannons probably need normalized, right? Like, they're like strength 10, d6 shots, d6 damage. Like that. If that was like 3 shots and 3 damage, like that arguably probably be better and more attractive. You'd be more likely to take it. Stuff like d6 damage is just... it's just weird. It's just, yeah. Just doesn't make that much sense if you're trying to make competitive lists and play at a high level. You really don't... You can't play around things that have such a big swing. You know, it does between 1 and 36 damage in a turn. It's just such a huge swing, right? You got more powerful and lower and less powerful in the table. Yeah, you're probably right. Vindicator laser destroyers look interesting, says Drizio. Yeah, I mean, I can get on board with a laser destroyer 100%. The flat 6 damage if they don't move. The toughness 8. I think it's strength 10 minus 4 in the cannon, and if they do move, it's still strength 9 minus 3. The laser... There's something we can agree on, Rizio. The laser destroyer is very strong and interesting. 100%. I don't actually own a laser destroyer, but like if you compare it to the Gladiator, that new one, the Lancer, I think the laser destroyer is actually better. And I think it's ever so slightly cheaper in points cost. I could be wrong. I guess... the Lancer's gone down in points cost again, right? So maybe the Lancer is in a better spot now? Maybe? But, yeah, I think the Laser Destroyer is a solid unit. We don't see too many of them, I guess, because they're forward roll tanks, right? More powerful and lower, but less on the table. It's like all my armies. This edition has just been really hurt with power creep. And I don't my main thought about it is I don't understand why the power creep has got so bad when, you know, if you go back and look at the Blood Angels Codex, yes, we were the first codex, but they actively like tried to make us a bit weaker, you know? Like they took away a relic that prevented Overwatch and gave you like the... Was it a reroll charge? I forget. Then they took away our 3d6 charge. They took away our relocate in the same turn. You know, it was like they actively took away a lot of our best stratagems. Red Rampage, one of our best stratagems. I used Red Rampage almost every game. So they took away like a lot of our best stratagems, and then it was like the next codex that came out, which I think was the Death Guard. You know, like the Death Guard got huge improvements, and it was like, okay. And then ever since then, it's just been like every new codex, huge improvements. But we were first, and for whatever reason, we actively they actively nerfed us. They actively tried to make us worse. But then, were we that strong in 8th edition? Because I played a lot of 8th edition, and my win rate wasn't that high in 8th edition. I mean, one of the reasons. Yeah, when I started playing in 9th edition, I didn't have a good win rate at all. Like 55, 60% max. Sometimes I was less. Like, I want to say that I probably had a win rate of more like yeah, I definitely had periods in 8th edition, like, you know, I played against Andrew's Iron Hands a lot. And like my win rate against Iron Hands was like 30%. I lost to them a lot in 8th edition. So like I didn't think we were hugely strong in 8th edition. I thought we were decent. But then yeah, they actively tried to nerf us on a bunch of things. And then they had this idea that like, hey, we're gonna nerf Blood Angels, or we're gonna take away some of their best stuff and try and like balance them. Then when it came to the other armies, it was like they kind of forgot that they were doing that for us or something. They just went ham, I guess. Recommendations for good Blood Angels Dreadnought that can be deployed in a drop pod. Ironclad Dreadnought? Ironclad or Death Company, probably. I probably personally prefer the Ironclad, but I think both are good. I actually did a video, and the video's called Brawler Dreadnoughts. Adam. So if you search YouTube for Brawler Dreadnoughts, like BRAWLER, like Brawler, like a melee brawler sort of class thing. I made a video on like the 3, I think I did the Ironclad, the Death Company, I think I did the Leviathan as the 4th one, but obviously, or the 3rd one, sorry, the Leviathan can't go in a drop pod, so it wouldn't be the Leviathan, but I think probably Death Company or Ironclad, if you're going to put something in the drop pod, or probably make the most sense. Probably can be the scariest threat and do the most damage. Oh yeah, we used to get the Standard of Sacrifice. That was huge as well, wasn't it? That was one of our best relics last edition. You could use the Standard of Sacrifice with a lot of infantry armies, or a lot of infantry units, to get what felt like a huge amount of power. I liked the Standard of Sacrifice a lot. I was really upset when they took that away from us. I kind of actually forgotten about it. I guess I'd blanked out of my mind because I was so upset about it, maybe. Tarek's drill is my preferred deep strike dreadnought. I mean, I don't own a Terax, you know, but I kind of fancy getting one. It's pretty cool how strong they are. I think the thing that surprises people is the melt is really good on it, and it's insane in melee combat. I think it's isn't it 6 plus D3 or something, or is it D3 plus 6 for minimum damage in melee? So like, it can do 9 wounds a hit in melee combat or something. Like, the Terex is scary as fuck in melee, I guess. Okay, yeah, so tomorrow night at about 9:30 we're doing the army list show, and we got 3 armies to get through as always. There's quite a big queue for the army list show at the moment, and I can't do too much about it. I just have to tell you guys that there is a big queue. I guess chapter approved came out, a lot of people are submitting armies, so I'm trying to get through them as quickly as I can as always, but if you are submitting a list to the army list show, just be prepared to have a little bit longer wait than normal. And then, yeah, Monday night's going to be battle against the Tau, so that's going to be fun. I'm not sure how I'll do against Tau, and it's going to be mainly crisis suits and battle suits. Or, yeah, like broadside battle suits. I was going to say, I've played the Tau in 9th edition like a handful of times, like maybe 5 or 6 times. And I was able to beat them pretty reliably before the new Tau codex, but the new Tau codex has me worried, yeah. Casper, thank you so much for following. Hey man, got a question for you. Yeah, hit me, Casper. Am I a furry? Like, furry as in the people that dress up as animals and go to conventions? I'm definitely not that. If it means something else, I don't know. Yeah, against Necrons, you do need to overkill things. Like, they basically get to roll the reanimations whenever a unit finishes shooting at them or finishes like combat. So, but they can't reanimate if you fully kill the unit. So like, if there was, let's say, 3 guys left and you killed 2 of them, they can then roll reanimation for the 2 guys that die, but if you kill all 3 of them, they can't reanimate. So that's what they mean by overkill. Like, if you're close to finishing off a unit, don't shoot at it and, like, you know, don't split fire and potentially like leave one alive, because if you leave one alive, then they can like resurrect some of the others, and they can also use like a resurrection orb. When they use the resurrection orb, like if they use a resurrection orb and they got 1 model left and it was a 20-man squad, they can then roll for all other 19 models, and like on a 4-up they come back to life. So yeah, I mean, I've had games that I could have probably won pretty easily, but like I left like 1 single Necron warrior alive in turn 1, and then they just drop like a resurrection orb on the squad, and when they do that, suddenly that like 1 Necron warrior can turn back into like 10. So you gotta be careful with that. They can't reanimate against mortal wounds
I think. I'm like 90% sure they can't reanimate. Thank God you're not a furry. Just stranded at a guy who's furry, man. That was hell. Just stranded? I don't know what you mean, Casper. What, you landed? You landed at like a channel that was furry? No, I mean, if someone wants to be a furry, I mean, you probably shouldn't judge them for doing it, but you know, it's not. I don't really go to conventions anyway. Period. I sometimes go for work. And you know what? I was at Warhammer Fest like the year before COVID. But I'm not a huge convention sort of person. Excited for the game on Monday. My buddy got back into 40k together in 9th. He plays Tau, I play Blood Angels. Okay. Well, I guess... I mean, there's just going to be so much firepower on the board. Dodging it and staying alive is going to be... Dodging it and staying alive into turn 3 so we can make the best use of like our doctrines and stuff is probably going to be my strategy. Tau, they're a difficult army for us to beat, honestly. I want to paint my Blood Angels... Or sorry, I want to paint my Blood Raven colour. But can I play Blood Angels as a shooty army? I mean, you could run a Blood Angels successor chapter that was all about shooting. But if you're gonna run the Blood Angels chapter tactic, then you're gonna be weaker. So you could make a Blood Angels successor chapter that is about shooting. And that's, I guess, if you want to play a shooting army, that's probably what I would advise, because the Blood Angels chapter tactic, which is a huge part of our buff, is all about melee. And it's a really good melee buff, right? But I mean, the thing I like about Blood Angels, or the thing I do with my Blood Angels currently, is I kind of play a balanced army where I do shooting in turn 1 and 2 typically, and then try and get into combat turns 3 and 5 and finish them off. And I mean, I've been doing that for a while now, and I really enjoy that. I think it's a fun way to play the game. If the mortals are from shooting or melee, they can reanimate. Okay, so it's only mortals from psychic they can't reanimate. Maybe John played that wrong then when I played him a few weeks back. Because I think I did some mortals to him with the Volkite Contemptor, and I don't remember if he tried to reanimate against them or not, actually, but I thought he only tried to reanimate mortals. I thought he just didn't try to reanimate mortals, maybe. Oh, Blood Angels, sorry, Blood Ravens are, yeah, I mean, that's a good point, actually. I actually have no idea what the Blood Ravens chapter tactic is, because... But I mean, you could paint them red and have them as a Blood Angels successor chapter. You could run them as a you could run them as a Blood Raven successor chapter too, right, James? Like, that wouldn't be a problem. I'm a sleepy Primarch. Good night, Tony. Thanks for hanging out. I'm actually kind of sleepy myself. I'm going to be calling it in like 10 minutes. I got a bit done tonight. A little bit. There's so much work still to do on these Terminators, it's kind of ridiculous. Was the Warhammer Blood Angels show any good? I didn't like the art style and heard very little about it. I watched the first 3 episodes. I keep meaning to watch the rest of it. And then I'd made a video actually in the first couple episodes. I thought it was okay. I thought the episodes were too short. But yeah, I'll try and finish. I did want to finish up the series on that. It just seemed like a lesser important thing that I was doing on the channel. But yeah, I'll try and finish up the series. I didn't. From what I saw, I enjoyed what I saw. But honestly, I haven't used Warhammer Plus nearly as much as I expected. I signed up at the very start to get like the free model, which I don't think they've shipped those free models yet. But no, I signed up at the very start to get the free model, and I mean it must have been out for about 6 months at this point, maybe even longer. And I tried to watch one of the battle reports, and it was way too casual for what I was looking for. Like, the battle report was so casual it confused me, in that, like, you would think that the people going on to Warhammer Plus were kind of already like pretty hardcore players, right? Because like you have to subscribe and you have to be in the hobby. But then the battle report that I watched felt very much like an introduction to, you know, it was like a 1,000-point battle report that was like, it felt like an introduction or introduction style game, and I was like, not sure how I feel about this, right? Because I'm not a player that needs introductions. Like, I'm happy to like watch more complicated stuff. So yeah, I wasn't too sure about Warhammer Plus. I did subscribe on like right when it came out, but haven't used it as much as I expected to use it, I'll tell you that for sure. Good night, Arkin. Thanks for hanging out. Take it easy, Reziel. Thanks for hanging out. I liked it. The style fits the Grimdark much better than the anime style shows they got. Yeah, I mean, the style was kind of gritty. I felt like it maybe needed a little bit more colour, you know, because like the Marines standing out in bright red against the whole rest of the show being much, much, much darker. I wasn't sure I totally was on board with that, but I didn't hate it. I never felt like it was good value for money. I already had Disney, Netflix, Amazon. Yeah, I mean, if you compare it to those other streaming services, it was always going to be difficult for them to keep up for those. But yeah, I mean, it's very, very far away from those other streaming services in terms of like the content, I guess. And a lot of the content, you'll get similar content on YouTube for free, right? Or yeah, I guess yeah, you'll get similar content on free, or your favorite YouTube creators will create. You can ask them and they'll create something similar, I guess. Astartes is still the best 40k animation. I think Astartes is now out on Warhammer Plus. But you know what? I've not logged in Warhammer. The reason that I'm not logged in the Warhammer Plus probably is that like all those things you mentioned, Disney, Netflix, and that, they all have like native apps on my TV. So like when you load up the TV, you typically just pick up the remote control, right? And like all those other apps are like right there. Whereas like the only way to get Warhammer Plus on the TV is like to cast it from your phone, which is honestly kind of a pain in the arse. Like, you just want to be able to open up the app with the TV remote, right? I guess, yeah, that's not something that they have. I mean, even YouTube has an app for the TV where you could just open up YouTube on your TV, right? think there was a new Tau animation that came out this week as well. Has anyone watched it? How would you rank the playstyle in 9th edition? How would you rank the playstyle? What do you mean by that? Omnissiah Sphinx. The the Blood Angels playstyle, or just the playstyle of the game, or can you be a bit more specific? Sorry. FFS name taken would much rather support the independent creators. That's super appreciated, dude. Thank you so much for the £5. Sorry, I was going to say dollars. Most people send the money in dollars. Pounds is good as well. I use pounds here in the UK. So thank you so much for the £5. Yeah, I know. I think that's just the thing as well for me, right? I watch Tabletop Tactics, I watch Chapter Master Valric a bit, I watch Auspex Tactics, of course, because anytime you need to fight a new army, you watch Auspex Tactics because the guy's insane and he's done a video on every single unit in every single codex, and you know, so it's I watch all these independent Warhammer creators more than I watch Warhammer Plus as well, and I pay for Warhammer Plus, obviously. But yeah, it's a strange one for me, I guess. I don't know what they have to do to make Warhammer Plus more popular or more friendly, but I think a good start might be, and I said this right when they launched it, I thought a good start for Warhammer Plus, especially the battle reports, would be to get the people that are doing battle reports anyway onto Warhammer Plus for a game or something. You know, because it would be people like that guy Nick is it Nick Bayton or something? I follow him on Twitter, and he's a big painter, or he does a bunch of the painting tutorial videos. He took over for Duncan, right? If you don't know Duncan, he was I guess he was one of the heavy metal painters at Games Workshop, right? And then that guy Nick took over. So Nick is in some of those battle reports. And Nick is a generally quite likable guy. Like I said, I follow him on Twitter. I've had a couple of conversations with him on Twitter, and yeah, I mean, and I said to him, he asked for suggestions on how do you make Warhammer Plus better, and I was well, for the battle reports, why not pick some of the tournament winning lists? You know, or why not get some of the tournament winning players on to play, and that's what it would take for me to watch their battle reports, right? I want to watch top level games with top level players, and while I've got nothing against that guy Nick, you know, I don't see him going to GTs and finishing top 5 or anything like that, right? You know, and that's the sort of thing that I'm trying to do, is go to GTs to win them, or go to GTs and finish top 5, and get, and it wouldn't only have to be the competitive list, because for example, I really I also sometimes watch Winters. I'm sure a bunch of people watch Winters as well, and Winters does great little battle reports, and it's why not get some of these really well-known, liked people onto Warhammer Plus, and then you could cross-pollinate it. But I mean, that's just my opinion. That's you know, if they asked for my ideas on Warhammer Plus, I would say you know, let's get some competitive battles on there with really high profile players, right? Good evening, fellas. Thanks for tuning in. Shooty fighting beelines, the game in general. I think I like the game in 9th edition. I think it's reasonably fast. I think it's reasonably balanced. I think a couple of the codexes have been overtuned still. I think they are sort of slowly fixing that. They are trying to fix it with those bi-monthly balance slates, or tri-monthly balance slates, whatever. I don't know what, I mean, I've had the most fun, I think, playing the game in 9th edition. I never go into a game in 9th edition thinking fuck, I've lost this game. You know, things are good in the hobby right now. just maybe if the new codexes could come in like a little bit more tested or a little bit more fair or balanced, I guess, then I think everything would be fine on Messiah. I'm gonna do a video around the 12th of March, Tezab, that gives a final date for the painting competition. So I imagine it will be like 1 week after the 12th of March. So if you're not going to be close by the 12th of March, then you need to get a shift on, because that's when we'll be closing the painting competition entries. Oh shit, I'm tired. I just dropped one of my models on the floor. I'm going to bed in the next 5 minutes, guys. So any last questions, and then if not, I will be back tomorrow night to do the army list review show. How would you rank shooty army with fighty armies or balanced armies in 9th edition? I like how they've changed the terrain on Messiah. So terrain is super important in 9th edition. And I think that if there's enough terrain on the table, which is like 8 to 10 obscuring pieces, which there should be. I mean, Games Workshop released a thing about terrain saying like, this is the terrain we're using in our tournaments and this is the amount of terrain we recommend, then I think all 3 army types have a chance. Some of it comes down to the skill of the player. I guess some of it comes down to how new the codex is, but I like the fact that Blood Angels can do damage in all 3 phases of the game, and I think we are a decent army even if we aren't right up at the top right now. I think good players can prove that Blood Angels can do well, because we've consistently seen people win tournaments with Blood Angels all last year, even though like at some points people were kind of like saying like, you know, Blood Angels aren't strong. Well, people have been winning tournaments with them all year. I did pretty well in the tournaments that I took them to last year. You know, I had an 80% win rate at tournaments. My list was balanced with shooting and melee. But yeah, I think if you're playing on a good table with the right terrain, then I think it's absolutely fine. I think shooting armies have a place. I think melee armies have a place too. I think balanced armies have a place. All can be difficult to beat, and all can be played however really you want to play them, right? What's the universal greeting again? Never mind, I remember. Yeah, I love Cup from that movie, man. I did notice, Daniel, I just haven't been at my computer, I guess, and I typically update them when I'm at my computer desk, so yeah, I'll make sure I get that updated for you, but thanks for pointing it out anyway. I did notice it, I just haven't been at my computer desk. Alright guys, I am going to call it a night. Hopefully catch some of you guys tomorrow in the Army List show. Appreciate the super chats and the support tonight. It really does help me out, and I really do appreciate it, so thank you for that. And if you do want to see our podcast about Tau, it's coming on Thursday this week. All you need to do in the YouTube search bar is search for a channel called the 3 Grots, and I think we've done 9 episodes now, so this is either episode 9 or 10 for our podcast. So search for the 3 Grots. We do release an episode every second Thursday, and we talk a lot about, this week it's Tau, but you know, we mainly talk 40k. Occasionally we might do some other stuff, but 40k is usually what we talk about on the Grots. So you can check out that on Thursday if you want to, and if not, I'll see some of you guys tomorrow, and then I'll see you Monday night, live game against Tau, and it's going to be mass crisis suits, mass battle suits, or broadside battle suits. So I guess you'll see how we do against those. And you know, on the side, you're asking how I do against shooting armies. Well, Monday night it'll be basically the best shooting army in the game against a balanced army. We'll see what happens. All right, enjoy the rest of your evening, folks. Thanks again for watching, and good night.